It's fascinating how long a firearm design sticks around with the United States military. In a digital world, it's easy to forget that firearms technology tends to move a lot slower than the world of electronics, aviation, or even warship construction. As a country, we have the most capable and most advanced military in the world, with the research and development budget we need to stay at the forefront of weapons technology. But when we find a design that works, we tend to stick with it. Today, we are celebrating the longest-serving service weapons in America's arsenal. M1903 Springfield. Arguably the best bolt-action rifle ever employed by the U.S. military, the M1903 Springfield isn't used today, but it was in service for 60 years. A respectable run for any firearm. The M1903 was developed after the Spanish-American War to replace the Springfield model 1892-99, a rifle that did the job, but was clearly outclassed by the Spanish M1893 Mauser. Seeing the advantages that the Mauser offered, the American military copied the basic design, and the result was the M1903 Springfield, chambered in .30-06. It went on to be the standard infantry rifle during the First World War, and it stayed in that role until it was replaced by the M1 Garand in the late 1930s. The Springfield M1903 had a rate of fire of 10 to 15 rounds per minute, and it held 5 rounds in an external box magazine. Its effective range was around 900 meters, while its maximum range was 5,000 meters. When the United States entered the Second World War in late 1941, production of the M1 Garand was only ramping up, so American soldiers were still using the M1903. It was soon updated as the M1903A3, which featured improved sights, and while the rifle saw use in North Africa and notably in the Pacific, by D-Day, most GIs had an M1 Garand. However, the M1903 was fitted with a scope and still used by snipers. It was employed as a sniper rifle in Korea and even the early stages of the Vietnam War. The M16 family of rifles. The M16 series of rifles started their enlistment in 1964 and are still serving their country as its main infantry rifle to this very day. The U.S. Army, Marine Corps, Navy, and Air Force all utilize the M16. While the Marines have replaced the M16 series for combat arms, the majority of forces are using an M16 series rifle. When I say the M16 series, I include the M16, the CAR-15s, the MK-18, the M4, and so on. This is one rifle platform that comes in many flavors. The M16 provided us with the best service rifle America had ever seen when it arrived on the scene. It's lightweight, easy to shoot, accurate, reliable, capable, and easy enough to repair. Not to mention the fact that you'd be hard-pressed to find a more versatile service rifle platform to build from. That's the reason it's a family of rifles. It can be long, short, and rechambered to various calibers, and still have a seat at the M16's Thanksgiving dinner table. The M16 is not only one of our longest-serving service weapons, but it's likely going to keep adding to its tenure for many years to come. Colt 1911. Among the most famous of John Browning's firearm designs was the Colt M1911 .45 pistol, which was used by the U.S. military from 1911 until 1986, when it was finally replaced by the 9mm Beretta M9 pistol. Often known as the .45, the M1911 was a single-action semi-automatic handgun that was magazine-fed and recoil-operated, and as known by its famous moniker, it fired the .45 ACP cartridge. Some 2.7 million M1911 and the later M1911A1 variation were produced throughout its long service with the U.S. military. World War II production actually exceeded 1.9 million units, with versions produced by several companies, including Remington Rand, Colt, Ithaca Gun Company, Union Switch and Signal, and even Singer. It is worth noting that so many M1911A1s were produced during World War II that the government never actually ordered new pistols, and instead relied on existing parts inventories in the years following the war. Modernized variants of the M1911 are still used today by the U.S. Army Special Forces and U.S. Navy. Browning M1919 machine gun. A testament to the designs of John Browning are that, in addition to the M1911, is the fact that he also developed the innovative water-cooled M1917 .30 caliber heavy machine gun, which truly improved upon the Maximum Vickers design that were used during the First World War. But he didn't stop there. He then improved his own design with the M1919 Browning, an air-cooled medium machine gun. The belt-fed, recoil-operated weapon had a reasonable rate of fire, ranging from 400 to 600 rounds per minute, and an effective range of 1,400 meters. During World War II, it was used by infantry mounted on jeeps, tanks, aircraft, and even landing craft on D-Day. While the development of general-purpose machine guns in the Cold War relegated the M1919 to a secondary role, even 100 years later, this .30 caliber weapon is still very much in use today. M40 Sniper Rifle. Marines often stick with what works, and the M40 Sniper Rifle works. In 1966, the Marine Corps put together a comprehensive sniper program, and the Remington 700 became the rifle of choice. They designated the rifle we now know as the M40, and since then, it's been the long gun of choice for the Marine Corps Hogs and one of the longest-serving sniper rifles with 55 years of good service under its belt. In the last decade or so, the Marine Corps moved to primarily semi-automatic sniper rifles, but the M40 stuck around and adapted to be an accurate and modular platform right into the 21st century. With the preference for semi-autos in 7.62 NATO and bolt guns in 300 Win Mag and 338 Lapua, the M40 might be nearing the end of its service life, but it hasn't heard the bell just yet. M2 50 caliber machine gun. The M2 is America's 50 caliber machine gun of choice. This massive behemoth has served for 88 years and continues to serve to this day. This John Browning design utilizes the 50 BMG round and in many ways resembles the operation of the M1917 machine gun. This absurdly powerful weapon sits on trucks, tanks, and as an emplaced weapon for defensive positions. The M2 was first designed in 1918, and the original intent was for it to be an anti-tank machine gun. World War I tank armor was quite a bit different than today's, and the 50 BMG was an effective round for the job. Today, the old M2 machine gun still serves with general infantry forces, special ops, and foreign forces. In fact, it remains a favorite among many service members regardless of flag. It's not the newest gun, but it works. And works well for thousands and thousands of rounds. M1 Garand. American General George S. Patton called this iconic rifle the greatest battle implement ever devised. Proven in every environment on Earth, from the Arctic to jungles and deserts, the M1 ranks as a top prepper rifle. Its semi-automatic operation, combined with an 8-round, internal magazine fed with en-bloc clips, gives the Garand fantastic firepower. Yet, it flies under the radar in many jurisdictions, where more modern semi-auto rifles are either banned or subject to draconian registration schemes, since it does not accept detachable, high-capacity magazines. It has a few drawbacks, however. As an early semi-auto design, it is more complex than needed because conservative Army officials insisted on certain features which, in hindsight, were unnecessary. Its complexity means there are many more things that can go wrong with it compared to simpler bolt actions. However, spare parts are still plentiful, and most repairs don't require advanced gunsmith skills. Every weapon on this list is at least a grandpa in terms of age and experience. These weapons served their country well, and some still do. It's amazing how long a good piece of kit can last. And it's even more amazing to see what troops can do in the field with a piece of kit that was good once, but may not be quite up to snuff anymore.